Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 139. And wait, we go.
Step up to the ring, we got MJP and Green Man. It's the reigning championship team. From Milan to Japan and everywhere in between. Get the up-to-date news on the wrestling scene. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot. Oh yeah, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to A Shot of Wrestling, episode 139. For those of you who are new to the show, thank you for giving us a chance. Thank you for giving us a listen. You will not be disappointed. For those of you who have been coming back, loyal listeners, thank you. Thank you for your support. It means a lot to us. We are very active on our social medias, so make sure you check us out. A Shot of Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. Shot of Wrestling No Way on Twitter. You can check your boy out at MJP on Instagram and Twitter. And now, finally join the world of Facebook at MJP on Facebook. So make sure you follow us there and all our social media. Stay up to date on our latest news and what's going on here with your boys at A Shot of Wrestling. Now we had a busy weekend. Green Man had Outlaw Wrestling. I had the Hall of Fame. We both had Bound for Glory and the 2 nights of Impact tapings. Now before the BCW show, Final Judgment, which we covered in episode 138. Before we get into that, let's start the show like we always do with this week's wrestling replay. Bound for Glory. Only our second replay that you can't watch on the WW Network, but you can't watch on the Global Wrestling Network, GWN, where it's available. October 14th, 2018, from the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York, sponsored by Comda.com. Rich Swann and Willie Mack defeated Matt Sydal and Ethan Page in 12 minutes, 20 seconds. Eli Drake defeated James Ellsworth in 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Before Abyss came out and destroyed my man Eli Drake. Tessa Blanchard defeated Taya Valkyrie to retain the Knockouts Championship in 10 minutes, 36 seconds. Eddie Edwards defeated Moose via DQ in 2 minutes even, which evolved to Eddie Edwards and Tommy Dreamer defeating Moose and Killer Cross in a no DQ match in 9 minutes, 30 seconds. OVE defeated Brian Cage, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. in an OVE rules match in 13 minutes, 31 seconds, which saw the first defeat of Brian Cage. LEX defeated the OGs in a concrete juggle match in 9 minutes, 29 seconds. And in your main event, Johnny Impact defeated Austin Aries to win Impact World Championship match in 21 minutes, 3 seconds, in very controversial fashion, by the way. That was Bound for Glory. I cannot talk about my weekend without getting my partner in crime, Green Man, on the horn. So let's dial him up. All right, let me get through my contacts here. Scroll. Pete Rosado. Eli Drake. Allie. Oh, here we go. Green Man, here it is. Okay. Got Green Man on the horn. That's all better pick up. I just fucking texted him.
Michael J. Putty.
Oh, Green Man, there you are.
What's up, my friend?
Where are you going to pick up?
Hey, I always pick it up for you, my brother. Anytime you need me, I'm always there. If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far. Don't worry, baby.
Great, now we were them $4,000. Thank you so much.
You're not going to join me in on that one?
No.
Hey, listen, we've done a lot of karaoke in our day. I'm sure add that to the repertoire, along with Indy and Lincoln Park. Don't we do a lit song, right?
I didn't call you talking about karaoke.
You called me to be on the show? What's going on?
The weekend that was A Shot of Wrestling's weekend. Started out with BCW. Final Judgment live in the Bronx. Jack Swagger's BCW debut. We're cutting a promo with Darius Carter. Jack Swagger cuts in like an old school WWE backstage promo. It was awesome.
That's crazy.
Right place, right time. So that was a highlight. Go check out our Instagram and Twitter for that.
Dude, you know how crazy that was? It's on the fly. Like, you were just talking to Darius Carter, wanted to know how he was on the night of one of his biggest opportunities. He's been chasing this title, I think, ever since we started going to BCW. Like,
Pretty
Darius
much, yeah.
Carter has always been chasing this title. And, you know, finally, you got him on an interview moments before his big match to get that opportunity, and guess who walks in? Jack Swagger. The crazy thing is, you know, before that, like, I was like marking out a little bit, because unbeknownst to us, it could have been Jack Swagger versus Darius Carter for the championship at the next show. You know, you didn't know how the night was going to turn out. So for us to get that moment and capture, and you did so well, like, how did you stay so cool, like, when shit like that was going down?
It wasn't easy. I just tried to embody my inner mean Gene Okerlund. It's hard to do without a microphone and cell phone. So if you notice in the video, my placement of like where to put my hands was weird. Because I'm a big guy, so I felt like I was blocking Darius Carter, so I had to go around the back of both of them.
Yeah.
So it was weird to get the microphone set, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty badass. Like I said, it felt like an old school promo. Happy there's no fight involved, because I would have got my ass beat like you did.
Oh man, imagine! I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
dude, imagine if they actually went to brawl. Like, what? Like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
The best part about it was when they started laughing at each other. I'm like, oh, this is the end. Maybe should we cut here? Then Jack Swagger just snaps and goes, how you going to beat me? I'm like, oh, shit, we're not fucking ending here. This is keep going. Like, it was awesome. Yeah, it was one of the highlights.
It was an amazing night, man.
I was commentating for you.
Truly an amazing night.
I was front row, ringside.
You know, I'm blessed to keep getting these opportunities with BCW. And, you know, the more I'm doing it, the more I'm getting the feedback on what I could do better. And, you know, I am getting a little bit better and better. And it feels good, man. You know, I wrapped up this show, and I was just in awe at the fact that I was able to call a match with the All-American, former world champion, United States champion, ECW champion, Jack Swagger. Like, right before the match, I was like, holy shit, this is actually happening, you know? And I'm sure, like, that same moment is how Azriel felt. Like, you know, holy shit, not just is this happening, but this dude actually thinks he's going to be coming into my house and taking my title. Like, if there were any naysayers about Azriel as a professional wrestler, as BCW champion, dude is a fucking veteran, and that match literally showcased his body of work. Like, Azriel killed it. He killed it.
We got Shane Fair's opinion of how nervous he was, so I can't imagine what Eric was going through, and you're commentating the whole fucking match.
Yeah, man. It was a great night. It was great to be home. Very lively crowd. We were also able to hang out with a lot of our good friends at the Jobber Tears podcast. I thought that was pretty cool. And BCW looks like they're starting to form their own podcast row. So for any podcasts out there who want to be part of something great and something special, you know, if you are in the tri-state area, this is your opportunity. Go ahead and send a DM to BCW and be part of a podcast row. You could interview the superstars. You could do your recording for your next show there. There's a lot of exclusives. And Michael J. Putty, I've talked to you, you know, privately about this, and a few people I've also shared this conversation with. But podcasts are like the next form of media. It's the next, what I would consider like press, you know? And podcasts are doing it better than any other form of media. They're out there, you know, getting those exclusive interviews. They're out there getting content for either their YouTube page, Podbean, iTunes, whatever form of media that they're covering. They're getting original content, and they know that going to these independent shows is where you have the best opportunity. So it's fucking great, man. We were able to have that conversation with our dude from News Channel 12. That was a nice surprise. One
of our exclusives as being the official podcast of BCW. So don't get too twisted here. Podcast Row starts with a shot of wrestling, by the way.
Bro, ever since the beginning, our podcast has always been about lifting everybody up with us. You know, it's we grow, they grow, and everybody grows together. And, you know, come and join us. Come be part of Podcast Row and have fun. Great recap on the show last week. Great stuff you caught on. So it was fucking awesome.
That's what I do best. But speaking of local indie wrestling talent, the next night, as I was rubbing elbows to the stars of Impact Wrestling, you were in Brooklyn hanging out with the boys over at Outlaw Pro Wrestling. How was that?
So, little small disclaimer. I actually had to go to work that next day after BCW. And we stayed out a little bit past the Green Man's bedtime. We stayed out drinking a little too much American, what was it, Wild Turkey American whiskey?
Yeah, American Wild Turkey
honey. A little too much. Oh, it's so delicious, but damn, that dark liquor gets to you. I went to work the next day, and then I'd never been to that part of Brooklyn before, like through the MTA. So I ended up taking like the 6 train to the F train to the D train, and then the D train didn't run all the way through, and I had to transfer to another D train. It ended up being all the way, like, literally close to Coney Island, this place.
Jeez.
I should have gone home, picked up my car, driven there, and it probably would have been a lot easier. And then I get out at this sketchy neighborhood, which I'm cool with sketchy neighborhoods. I grew up in Jamaica, so I was like, it felt kind of familiar in a way. I went there, and I first didn't know exactly where it was, and I started feeling like I may have been in the wrong place because there's this, like, neighborhood feel on the block where this church is. And I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm in the right place. Like, these are all homes. Like, usually when there's a church around, you could see it. Like, by the end of the block, you're like, oh, the church is right there. You know, churches are big, big buildings. They're not like, they don't blend in. So I get into this block, and I'm seeing all these residential homes, and I'm like, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. And Brooklyn, being in the wrong place, it's not a good place to be in. But finally, I made it to the end of the block, and there it was, Outlaw Pro Wrestling. Killed it again. I mean, the crowd is hot anytime you go to an Outlaw show. So that being said, everybody there, it felt very familiar. It felt like, wrestling brings us together. Outlaw brings everybody together. There were people of all different ages, and it was awesome. Matt Stryker had a match with Montequilla, which was probably one of the highlights of the night as far as an entertaining match, because the story they were telling in the ring was so cool. Like, Matt Stryker was trying to get super luchador powers, and he only had his luchador powers when he put a mask on, but then he lost it when he didn't have the mask on. So facing Montequilla, who's a luchador by trade and, look and everything, it was a great match. Hard-hitting match, Michael J. Putty, a match that if you weren't there, you'd be kicking your ass right now that you didn't watch this live, but it had to be Bull James versus Juice Robinson. Killer match.
Oh, the guy from NXT.
Yeah, both guys from NXT. They have a rich history together. I mean, from what I recall, Juice and Bull, like, used to run NXT together. They used to live together for a little bit, so they know each other very well.
Get any exclusive interviews? Any contacts you made?
Michael J. Putty, that night, after the long BCW evening that I had before, I was, like, done with my day. I did get an opportunity to meet some great people. I met the queen of the ring there. We had a great conversation. Follow her on all social media. NYC promoter Shane was there too, and we were just having a great time. It felt like the days before we had a foot in the door in the wrestling business. It felt like those days where you just bought yourself a ticket, went to a show that you wanted to go see, and just enjoyed it. And if you want to enjoy any show, November 1st, Outlaw Pro Wrestling returns to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, right around the corner from our boy Slick Dick Williams' home. So, Michael J. Putty, how was your night?
We were slumming it in Brooklyn, New York. I was rubbing elbows with the elite over at Impact Wrestling in Midtown, New York for the Hall of Fame induction for the Monster Abyss. Now, it was at an Irish pub in Midtown Manhattan. I didn't think too much of it. I bought my ticket online.
Mm-hmm.
You know me. I'm always late. I'm not the best at being on time for things.
I would think this wouldn't be the show that you would want to be late for.
Exactly.
Because the venue was very small, right? It was like a bar.
Yeah, I did not know that at the time.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go to the Survivor thing. I couldn't make it, so I didn't know anything about this place. I figured, let me go to the Survivor showing for Johnny Impact to get the lay of the land, so to speak. So I get there. Surprisingly, buddy, you would be proud of me on time. I'm sorry, early.
Wow.
Early.
Neat.
So I get to the place at 7 o'clock. Show starts at 8.
Was there a line outside?
No, that's why I want to get there early, so I have to wait on the fucking line.
Cool.
I'm expecting a line around the block. That's why I want to get there early to get my spot online.
All right.
I get there. There's 3 schlubs standing out in front. I'm like, you guys online? They go, no, we don't think so. We're just waiting to see what's going on. Like, that makes no sense. There's a female at the door talking to the people by the door. She just tells them to go upstairs. I'm like, all right. I got my ticket out. They weren't even fucking checking tickets.
Really? So I could have just walked in.
Absolutely. We're here for the wrestling thing?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
upstairs. They didn't let her finish her sentence. We're here for the wrestling. Oh, upstairs.
Really?
Now,
Wow.
if you guys join us for the viewing party at the Crown Room at Bell Boulevard in Bayside, Queens, it's a lot smaller than that.
Stop it.
It was tighter. It was narrower. It was shorter.
No way.
However, halfway through, they decided to raise the floor up 4 steps. So it wasn't one solid floor. It was halfway through, you went up 4 steps to another floor, so to speak. And that's, of course, where all the Hall of Fame ceremony was taking place. All the Impact officials, the wrestlers, superstars, knockouts were seated. I'm like, oh, I can't sit there. So I found a nice spot at the bar, and I stayed claim to that spot. That was my home base. So people are slowly filing in. I feel somebody rubbing against my elbow. I turn around. It's fucking Eddie Edwards buying his wife a drink. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Like, all right. I'm not going to say nothing.
That's your dude, man. If anybody listens to the show, everybody knows that's your dude.
So then what happens next is, all right, I let him go. I'm like, all right, I don't want to bother them because I'm still not drunk enough yet to bother people. So I turn around, try to see what's going on in the stage area, so to speak. And I feel some guy rub against me again. Turn around. It's Eli Drake buying his wife a drink too. I'm like, all right, now I'm literally rubbing elbows.
Now,
with the superstars.
Another one of your dudes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I don't want to bother him. Yeah. I don't want to bother him. But you see this, I mean, Gail Kim was beautiful. Gail Kim was there. You had Eddie Edwards. You had Petey Williams. You had the LAX. You had the OGs. I mean, you name it. People were there.
Everybody was there. That's awesome. Well, you got to figure it's the Hall of Fame. You got to show respect for the person who's getting inducted. Right?
Yeah,
like,
Abyss
the
was there.
whole roster should be there.
And it was just fucking cool, man. It was just fucking cool being around these people. I finally said hello to Abyss. Told him congratulations. Introduced myself.
Did he remember us from
No, of course not. I didn't even bother bringing it up. I know absolutely not.
You're like, hey, remember the last time we were together with the green guy?
I thought about it for a second. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
But then Moose shows up wearing this beautiful bright white striped suit with no sleeves, and it's a shorts. It was shorts. So a short suit with no sleeves blazer, looking like he's playing for the NFL still.
Really?
Turn around, introduce myself to him, saying, I love your suit. Weak-ass handshake. I guess he's not comfortable talking to fans.
Uh-huh.
Because he wasn't really engaging fans as other people were.
Okay.
Then the show started. Who walks by me but Johnny Impact?
Oh, the new Impact Wrestling Champion.
With his beautiful wife, Taya, on his arm. So I turn around to him. I look at him. He just stops and looks at me, looks me up and down for some weird reason.
You know each other?
Like we knew each other. Like, I know you guys from somewhere.
Yeah.
So then as he stopped and looked at me, I'm like, I extended my hand, introduced myself again, told him I'm a big fan. And he goes, oh, bro, thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And just went on his way.
Uh-huh.
But it was weird how he just stopped in his tracks to look at me. It was weird. But anyway.
I think if anybody sees a tall, big, jack dude, what are you, 6'6"?
Yeah, but I'm not
like,
jack.
No one
You're
could
using the
miss
word
you.
jack
and
wrong here.
You blend in with these big guys, So
I was the tallest
I could
guy
only
there.
imagine that he was like, wait a second, are you a worker? Like,
Maybe.
you fit the bill. Like, am I supposed to know you? And then you're like, oh, great fan. Oh, it's just a fan.
Anyway, the show starts. There's one guy talking to everybody, like running the whole bar, bouncing from table to table, people to people. Like, this guy's somebody. End of the night.
Like, he's talking to the fans, or is he talking to, like, the talent?
The talent, the people who are there, the special guests, the VIPs.
Oh.
Like, this guy's somebody. At the end of the night, they asked the VIP members to get online for a picture with Abyss.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, man, I don't have a VIP picture. Order another drink. After my drink, I'm like, I'm just going to do what Green Man does and just get in line. What are they going to do, kick me out? Like,
yeah, what's the worst they could do, right?
So I get online, and the guy who I saw who was talking to everybody stops me, opens my blazer up. I'm like, what's this? What's this about? I'm like, it's a Shot of Wrestling podcast. He goes, why have I never heard of you guys before?
Ooh.
I'm like, oh. I start talking to him. He goes, oh, buddy, you're next. Go. So I go, I'll take my picture, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm waiting for my opportunity to strike to talk to him again. But he's talking to everybody. This guy. So eventually, like 20 minutes later, I find him by himself at the bar. I introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
But before I did that, I'm like, oh, man, I should have brought fucking cards.
A business card, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't bring them.
Dummy.
I didn't. Yeah. So like, how am I going to tell myself? How am I going to introduce myself? He's going to ask for a card. I don't have a fucking card. I'll search my pocket. I found our original business card we had from 3 years ago. So, well, the grace of God, I got it in my pocket. I introduced myself to Ross. His name is Ross. Ross Foreman. Give my card. All right, we do a quarterly, maybe a monthly media call. We'll definitely send you an email, get you involved. I'm like, that's exactly what we want. Shakes my hand, thank you so much. I go on my way. The next night,
what's the line that you gave him? You haven't, because you told me this story before. I think the coolest thing that you did that night was the fact that you went up to him, you gave him your business card, shook his hand, and you told him, hey, you say you haven't heard of a shot of wrestling before.
How can I change that?
I would like to change that.
How can I change that?
When you said that to me, I was like, dude, that was like the best line. Like, how could I change that? Like, let's make some moves right now.
Like, what would Green Man do?
It was such a great line. Like,
so, like, how can I change that? He just gave me a stunned look, like, well, I don't know, like, do you have a fucking card or something? Like, expected me to say no. And I, like, zoinks, pull out my card, and the look on his face changed when I gave him my card.
Yeah, because you're fucking ready.
I told him,
you're taking yourself seriously. We're taking ourselves seriously. You know, everybody, you're listening to this conversation, and, you know, we're going on approaching episode 140. You know, this is 139. I mean, you know, from the beginning, you know, we were just two guys getting together talking about wrestling and be given so many great opportunities along the way. Like along, I would say maybe episode 30, we were just like really like gung-ho, like, hey, let's make something out of this. You know, we're both very passionate individuals. And if anyone who doesn't believe in a shot of wrestling, give us an opportunity, meet us, listen to our show, and we will make you believers. And that's what we've been about ever since, you know, the early format of the show.
So then I went on my way. I left him alone, left, time to go home.
Always got to end the night on the high note.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to get drunk. You don't want to get drunk there and make a fool out of yourself. You've already, you're on the high, you know? You know, when you're at the poker table, you leave when the chips are high.
Of course, the guys at Comda.com were there, and I got like 8 coasters. I got like 4 beer koozies. They're handing out merch left and right.
Nice.
So my jacket was literally puffed because I had all this shit in my
Could
pockets.
any of our listeners, Michael J. Putty, hit you up on social media to get some of this excess of inventory of Comda merch that you have available?
If you want, I got a lot of coasters left. I got
because the coasters are cool. I like the coasters. They're like little souvenirs that we saw at the bar at Bound for Glory. Mm-hmm.
That was my night. That was my Saturday night. That was your Saturday night. Let's move on to Bound for Glory. We get there. Of course, we're right next to the VIP section because that's how we roll. And let's talk about Bound for Glory, our experience. We were right next to the VIP section. We met a lot of people. We made friends with Ed Nordholm, the president of Anthem Sports, president of Impact Wrestling. There was 2 guys I recognized from the Hall of Fame ceremony Saturday night. Introduced myself. They were guys from Comda.com. We got a discount card. We bought them drinks. But that was a fantastic night for us here. I mean, Ed Nordholm, Scott and Mike from Comda.com, Ross Foreman, our boy over there. It was just fantastic. It was
a great night. And I met you on Sunday night again. I was, actually, Sunday night I wasn't working. It was my family day. I ended up going apple picking out in Long Island because my son loves, ever since he was a little kid, I'm going to say like he's a little kid. He's still a freaking little kid.
He's still a little kid.
But last year.
17.3 months, right?
Yeah. But last year he was maybe like 7 or 8 months. And we took him apple picking. And just go figure that the little 7 or 8 month old is loving apples. So we're like, we have to do it again. So it was my big family day on Sunday night. And then I drove back and I went straight to the Melrose Ballroom. Saw you online. Luckily, there was a nice spot just a block and a half away because you were already sweating the fact that it was a long line. Green Man wasn't there. And, you know, the line was starting to move and you're like, you need to get here quick. And I got there. I made it on time. We got in there, Michael J. Putty. You forgot this part of the story. Anybody who's anybody in the New York tri-state area of the independent scene was there. If anybody who wanted to push themselves or was pushing their career or trying to make those contacts, they were there at Impact Wrestling. And that's one of like the biggest things I respect from all the guys who were there, were that, you know, from setting up the ring, cleaning up the ring, setting up chairs, no job was too small, no job was too big for any worker in the tri-state area, because we saw people there from CZW, BCW, GCW, like people were all around from Capital Wrestling. On the line, we run into Matthew Ryan from Capital Wrestling. And then I was thinking of doing the Marky thing and being like, yo, Matt, you know, we've worked together before. Could you let us in, you know, and let us cut the line or whatever. But, you know, I just wanted to be part of the night as a fan. Like after working BCW, enjoying my show at Outlaw Pro Wrestling, and then coming to Bound for Glory, I was just like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to freaking enjoy the show. Like, that's all. Like, I wasn't even green, and you were a little bit upset about that, but I wasn't even green. Yeah, but everybody was there. It was so freaking cool. What did you think about the show?
From what I remember, it was fantastic. We were too busy talking to people.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't...
We're mixing it up.
Yeah, we weren't getting drunk and fucked up. We were talking to people, making connections, making moves.
Yeah.
But we're on the second floor of Melrose Ballroom, and right behind us was the backstage interview spot.
Yeah.
Where they do backstage interviews, I guess. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And there was these 3 beautiful women by the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, oh, go talk to them. They're people. Go talk to them. I'm like,
they were just beautiful. Yep, and I was just like, Michael J. Putty needs to talk to these ladies. No,
I'm going to talk to them. You're annoyed that I missed my chance. And lo and behold, 10 minutes later, they escorted Moose to the fucking ring?
Now, when that happened, I haven't asked you this. Now, when you saw that happen, did you feel like a dick because now you not only did you miss your opportunity of talking to 3 beautiful ladies, but then you're like, damn, I missed my opportunity of talking to Moose's 3 beautiful ladies.
No, because they were, in my opinion, they were smoking hot. 3 beautiful women, all Putty's type.
They were way out of your field. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. Yes. That's all. Oh. So I'm not going to talk.
You're out of their field, man.
So thank you. Nice save.
Gotta think about it that way.
So when I saw them walk Moose down to the ring, I'm like, oh, I mean, like, but how? What would I have said? How they came up? Blah blah blah. But then after the match, they're back at the fucking bar.
Right. Now, immediately after.
Now I got a couple of drinks in me, so I go talk to them, and apparently one of them is the left-hand woman of Tommy Dreamer over at House at Hardcore.
She's so freaking cool, by the way. Yeah, we got
another fucking connection we made. We got Mike and Scott over Comda. We got Ross and Ed Nordholm from Impact Wrestling. Now we got Monique over at House of Hardcore. Man, Down for Glory was fantastic for your boys at a shot of wrestling.
Yeah, Monique was so freaking cool. It was such a great conversation to have with her. We were talking about her family, the way she balances wrestling and her family life, and she was saying, she has 10 kids, and she remembers taking her babies because she has so much passion and love for the business. She would take her babies in her little kangaroo thingy and take them to shows. If mommy was at a show, the kids would come along, and I think that's so cool. One of our boys, Swerving from BCW, has his little 2.5-year-old now,
just
running around. Yeah. And it's so cool. It's so cool to see, the little kids being influenced in professional wrestling like that and just loving the product. Whether you're 3 years old or 30 years old, wrestling just transcends all these ages, and everybody is able to still connect in the same way.
I'm kind of short on time. You're kind of rambling on now, but that was Bound for Glory. You got your contact with Ross. You made it. I don't think he liked me. I think he liked you better than me. Yeah,
you introduced me to Ross that night. That's true.
And then you got us free tickets for the tapings for Monday night for Impact.
Yeah. So before you get to that, Ross did I ran into Ross going up the stairs, and again, he pulled the same thing he pulled with you and was like, yo, what's the shot of wrestling thing all around? And then I was like, told him a little bit about it, what we do. And he's like, have you ever had any Impact guys on it? And I was like, starting to think back of all the people that we've interviewed before, and I'm thinking former NXT superstars, former WWE champions just recently. The Lucha Underground champions had a few other Lucha Underground stars there. But legends like our interview with the Brooklyn Brawler on episode 100, so that we've gotten a lot of people, but there was no name that came to mind that I could be like, yeah, that was an Impact guy that has come on and shot a wrestling. And he's like, take my information down, because he didn't have a business. He's like, take my information.
Oh, wait, you didn't tell me that part.
Take my information
This
down.
guy, the head of media relations for Impact, didn't have a business card, yet your boy at Michael J. Putty did?
He didn't have his business card, but he was like, oh, you should totally have one of the Impact guys on there. Let's work something out. Obviously, I gave him my business card because I had him with me. And then since he didn't have his card, we just switched contact information. So I have his number. And then he was like, yo, but hit me up because we love to have you guys back. So not only were we at Bound for Glory, but then we were invited to the next 2 nights of tapings, which is freaking amazing in itself.
So moral of the story here, now I bring our business cards wherever I go, including work.
Absolutely. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
So
You're right.
Always had business cards on me because you never know. But yeah, thanks to Ross Foreman over at Impact Wrestling.
I think before we end the night of Bound for Glory, I think one of the coolest things that happened to us that night, that nothing else I felt could top it, was the fact that we have never stepped foot in a professional wrestling ring in our lives. You know, we've done stuff with BCW, we've done stuff with GCW, Capital Wrestling, and then a few other promotions, and we've never gotten the opportunity, you know, to be invited into a ring, to step foot through those ropes.
So we made friends with Ed Nordholm in our VIP section. I almost buy him a drink. He's only drinking soda, thankfully, for my bank account. So I got him a drink. Took a couple pictures with this guy. Made friends with the president of Impact Wrestling. Fast forward to the end of the night. Everyone's closing up. People are leaving. We make our way down to ringside. And we see Ed Nordholm with our friends Mike and Scott from Comedy.com in the middle of the ring taking pictures. You decided to ask him, let's ask him to get in the ring, take a picture. I decided against it. But, of course, you being Green Man, you do what Green Man does best. Take it from there.
Yeah, it was just like we were snapping pictures of our own just like they were doing. And then I was like, yo, this is my opportunity. You know, if I've never stepped into a ring before and our people are there, the people that we've been with this whole night, like, why not? Let me take a chance. So I walk right up and I'm like, yo, what's up, guys? Do you mind if we take a picture with you? That's all I said. They didn't have to invite us into the ring. They could have easily stepped down, and because we were taking pictures outside of the ring of us with the ring behind us. They could have easily, because they were done with their pictures, gone outside and taken pictures. They were like, oh no, come on in. And then these other guys, the guys that they were taking pictures with, they're like, oh, those are the podcast guys. I was like, yes, this is freaking awesome.
Mike and Scott, yeah.
But then I don't know how, and I think I could have maybe thought of many cool ways to step into a ring. But I just gladly jump up on the apron and then, wipe my feet, of course, out of respect, wipe my feet, go right into the middle rope, which was so freaking cool. And, turn around. I'm like, Michael J. Putty is probably going to go over the top rope. That'd be fucking sick right now if he just freaking Kane Diesels the shit out of that top rope and crosses over. So I turn around, Michael J. Putty, and what happened?
I thought about it. Not gonna lie, I thought about it. The
ring did not go over the top rope.
The ropes are higher than I thought it did. Yeah, but Kane's like 7 foot fucking tall. So I actually thought about it, but there was no stairs. There was no way to get into the ring. So I'm like, all right. So I froze. So all right, what do people do to get into the ring? They just step onto the apron, pull themselves up, and get into the ring.
Yeah.
So I decided to do that. Like, all right, I wish there were stairs there. Took my foot, lifted it up, 5 feet into the air, step onto the apron, grabbed onto the top rope, pulled myself up. My fucking pants ripped getting to the ring. Heard the noise, didn't know the extent of the damage. But I did.
You never told me that.
Yeah, I did. I wiped my feet into the ring. I stepped through the middle rope because now I'm not fucking chancing anything. We take a picture. The guy took like 4 pictures. A professional photograph, by the way, and our camera on our cell phones. But yeah, then decided to leave the way I came in. But then I felt like Brock Lesnar and Batista just dropped from the apron like a badass. But yeah, then got home that night. My pants are fucking ripped.
That is crazy. And I'm telling you, we've never stepped into a ring before, and I am proud to say, hey, that the first ring we ever stepped foot in was an Impact Wrestling ring at Bound for Glory, one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year.
Second biggest one of the year, yeah.
And
we didn't just step into the ring
over us, by the way. Like, there has to be some grace of God, like the wrestling gods are all uniting to try to get the Shot of Wrestling boys over, because it just blows my mind. But yeah, then we went into.
By the way, we didn't step into the ring at Bound for Glory. We stepped into the ring with the president of Impact Wrestling.
You're right.
That's fucking badass.
You're right. We shared some words. We shared some stories, which we could probably indulge our listeners on another show.
So if you're new to the show, or if you're a loyal listener, episode 115, it just boggles my mind because now here we are. We always bashed Impact, never talking about Impact. It was never a thought in our mind. But episode 116, I started to watch Impact, and now here we are, hanging out with the president of Impact Wrestling, sitting in the VIP section for the second biggest pay-per-view, Bound for Glory. So, Impact Wrestling, thank you so much for this weekend. It was fantastic. Awesome experience. I bought my first Impact shirt. It was just was a great 3 days for me here at Shot of Wrestling. How about you, Green Man?
The whole weekend was amazing. It really, truly was. Hopefully, we will be in the works to get a few more Impact stars into our interview schedule for A Shot of Wrestling. I have been in contact with a few. I actually do have an interview to get to in a few moments, Michael J. Putty. It was truly amazing. And if you're listening to A Shot of Wrestling, and whether you've been with us on the ride since episode 1 or episode 100, or it's the first time you're listening to the show, we are two very passionate guys about professional wrestling. We got introduced to the independent scene just about when the show got started, and we're blown away at the athleticism, at the passion, at the hard work that all these men and ladies put behind a wrestling product, and are truly amazed and blessed by all the opportunities that we have gotten. And like I said, we never knew that we would get to this point at episode 139, and we don't know what the rest of the episodes have in store for us. And hopefully you'll like what you're listening. Stay tuned to the upcoming episodes and come along for the ride, man.
The big controversy at the end of Bound for Glory was how Austin Aries no-sold Starship Pain, popped up, cursed off Don Callis, gave him the middle finger, walked away, giving the middle finger to the crowd as he left. Now, I have not heard any concrete reports whether this is a work or a shoot. I've heard both to the contrary. You don't really follow Impact too much. Now, being a viewer, what was your thought at Austin Aries' reaction to the end of that match?
Okay, so at the angle that I was watching that last match, the final moments of it, I did not see him immediately jump off of the cover. You know, like once Johnny Impact's music came on. I feel like he's always going to be Johnny Nitro to me, by the way. I'm going to try to make him Johnny SOW, but I'm like Johnny Nitro. But the next thing I saw was him, you know, flipping the bird to the top right of me, and this is Josh Matthews, Don Callis to my right. And I'm like, who is he flipping the bird to?
Because you were hanging out with Gary Michael Capetta at the time in the VIP section.
Yeah, I was. You're right. I was talking to Gary, and then I see him walk off, middle fingers up the ramp. I'm like, what's going on? And then I look to my right. By the time I look to my right, the announce team is gone. Like Josh Matthews, Don Callis have literally like left. So it left me to wonder, like, what is going on? Like, part of me was like, was he even flipping bird or pointing at anybody at that point? Like, were they even there when that happened? Because the camera didn't shoot up there. And by the time I turned around when he was on the ramp, they were gone. So I'm left to believe that it's a work, in my opinion, or I would have, being in that circle with those people there, I feel like there would have been a little bit more of a commotion. I think someone would have taken it very personal and very serious if someone who you just paid money to work the match, who was your former Impact champion, just no-sold your new champion at the conclusion of the match.
Petey Williams just told in an interview that this was his last day on his contract, so he is no longer under contract with Impact Wrestling. But many people are reporting how Don Callis was talking about Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels Survivor Series right before this happened, which many people are believing now might be a work. So we don't know anything. I've scoured my contacts. I've scoured the internet. Reports have not been confirmed. So it's a very controversial ending for the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. See how it plays out.
Crazy. It's wild. Well, Michael J. Putty, it is that time. I mentioned earlier I do have an interview to get to. So
who you getting to?
I will be going away on assignment back here at Size Studios. But before I leave you, this is episode 139, and our relationship with Outlaw Pro Wrestling is getting stronger and stronger. One of the big names and the big stars in Outlaw Pro Wrestling is none other than former NXT superstar, two-time NYWC champion, and an all-around great guy, Bull James. Bull James gave us some time and is giving us some opportunities to continue to, I wouldn't even say work with Outlaw Pro Wrestling, but like just giving us the opportunity to be around Outlaw Pro Wrestling is good enough for me. And thank you, Bull, for all the opportunities you're giving a Shot of Wrestling. So here's a little preview. It's a little different, Michael J. Putty, because our YouTube channel has just started first interview up was Lucha Underground champion, and now second interview going to be posted will be the interview with Bull James. So this is just going to be a small little taste, a little preview. If you want to listen to the full interview, head over to our YouTube at A Shot of Wrestling on YouTube and subscribe and listen to the full thing, brother.
Now, you know how we go here with Podbean and iTunes. There's kind of a time constraint here. Now that you're in YouTube, do you get more freedom to get more further in-depth interviews? Because there's no time constraint here. There's no handcuffs on Green Man. Is it a better, more relaxed feeling for you? Go more in-depth on interviews over at YouTube?
Only time will tell, my friend. Only time will tell. I mean, I've listened to interviews on YouTube before, and I feel like the longer you get, unless it's something really juicy and invigorating about that interview that keeps you wanting to listen for over an hour, great. But I think there's a limit for any listener to listen to things. I think just where we are in social media and everything else in the world, we're very quick. We want like quick glimpses at it. And that's also in reflection to what's going on in the show. We want to give you a quick little preview because we're working on a lot more creativeness coming to A Shot of Wrestling, and we've got to make some room for that.
So it's A Shot of Wrestling on YouTube, but you recently changed your Instagram handle, so remind people what your new Instagram handle is.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, that's greenman.sow. We'll be changing it soon on the rest of my platforms. But if you're on Facebook or Twitter, it's WWE Green Man. Like I said before in a previous show, I'm going to be dropping the WWE because if there is one moment when I change it back, it will be when I'm working for the company.
So once again, make sure you check over to A Shot of Wrestling on YouTube to get the full interview. But here's just a preview of Green Man's interview with Bull James. Then from there, we'll get right into the news. Green Man, thank you for your time. Good luck with your next interview. I know who it is. I'm looking forward to it. Good luck.
It'll be a good one, brother. I'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks.
Family, welcome to another exciting edition of A Shot of Wrestling, the interviews. If you have not done so already, follow us on all forms of social media at A Shot of Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, and Shot of Wrestling, no A, on Twitter. You can also get in contact with us via email at inbox@ashotofwrestling.com and dial it up 619-343-3005. That is our exclusive Shot of Wrestling hotline. We say it time and time again, and today, every day is no different than the next. Wrestling brings us together, and today, wrestling has brought us former NXT superstar, former two-time NYWC champion, and all-around nice guy, Bull James. How are you, Bull?
Green Man, what's going on?
Chilling, man, chilling. Now, you know, we've been trying to get together for the last couple of days, but life just keeps getting in the way. So thank you for finally coming on. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
So let's get started. Has the independent scene changed a lot from where it is now to where it was years before when you were breaking into the business?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I mean, and for all the good that, you know, the Bucks and Cody are doing with things like All In and being the elite and stuff like that, like, indies are hot everywhere you go. It's almost like except for New York. And the New York scene that I left behind when I went to WWE compared to the one I came back to, it was on its ass. It was almost dead when I came back.
Really?
Yeah.
How
compared
so?
to what it was.
How was it dead?
You just none of the old guard was still there to like kind of keep people in check. So you had so many guys and girls that were just entitled and they hadn't earned, you know, the right to carry themselves the way they did. Like they've been in the business for like 2 years, worked a couple places, and then thought that meant that they were like a big star.
Right.
And you try to bring somebody down off a high horse, and you try to do it nice, they blow you off. Then they blow you off, and you get angry, and then you become the dick. But it's just the way it is. Like I could half the people that I saw and that I was exposed to when I came back from WWE in the New York area 10 years ago wouldn't have lasted more than a week in the business.
Really? Completely
You know,
different
and
business.
And
And how's that?
crowds were down. It was sad, you know. Now slowly, like a lot of the crappy companies, like, and don't get me wrong, if there's a million companies in New York, it's awesome because then everybody's got a place to work and
Right.
get better. But man, sometimes it's about quality, not quantity.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about quality a little bit because I think the fans always speak to where the quality is. And we're just hot off the last Outlaw show in Brooklyn. And man, that crowd was red hot, man. I never realized how much that crowd makes a difference. Did the boys and the girls in the back, like, did they feel that energy from that room?
Oh, 100%. Like, I didn't believe it. You know, it was reminiscent to me of how ICW in Scotland is, or OTT
Wow.
in Ireland. Like, when I go over there and wrestle in front of those crowds, like it's always that kind of energy. But I haven't seen that in New York in I don't know how long.
I totally agree. I think there's been many shows we've been on, and I haven't felt that energy from a crowd in a long time. What do you think contributes to the success of that?
I think it was a little bit of everything. I think because, you know, here's the thing, in New York, there's always been, you know, 8 or 10 companies running shows, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, you know, either they don't run their business the right way or they can't afford the cost of all, you know, the athletic commission and the insurance and all that. So before they even book talent, you know, you're talking about, you know, for an independent show being $2,500 in the hole by the time they pay for, you know, a graphic designer and posters and tickets to get made and insurance and a building rent and ambulance, doctor, you know, so before you even touch talent, you're $2,500 in the hole. And, you know, if you want to bring somebody in and you got to fly them in, put them up in a hotel, you know, it's that can add up. And if it's an indie show that's only drawing, you know, a couple hundred people, you're not going to sustain a good lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think just from a lot of those companies going away, I think the fans, I think it was a mix of everything. I think the fans and the wrestlers realized they were a little spoiled with how much was going on at one point.
Right.
And I think neither us or them wanted to take that for granted again.
I mean, the show was amazing. I think the quality in the ring also speaks volumes to the storytelling in the ring. Everybody was really on point into getting everybody invested, really like reading the crowd as far as what we wanted to see and what more we wanted to see. I saw Matt Stryker walking around backstage and stuff. Are you guys close? Because he wasn't on the card at all.
Matt's another one again, so now we go back to the people that I forgot to mention who are now going to bust my balls relentlessly. Matt's always helped me out. From the first day I met him till we speak right now, he's always been really great to me. He's always tried to lead me in the right direction.
What was his thoughts about the show? Did he give you any feedback on it?
He was coming up to me. He was coming up to Shane from NYWC and to the owner, Chris, coming out to all of us, and like he's like, wow, like there's something special here, because we were just like floored, you know.
No, there really was. Thinking about like the future of Outlaw, what are like dream matches that you would want to book for Outlaw if you could?
Well, I don't have the book, but if I did, I would say I would love to wrestle Homicide again at some point.
Now, I've talked to a few people, and they've said like Homicide is one of like those guys from the past who are like the gatekeepers of the wrestling and what's going on in our scene in this area. What does that mean, though?
Well, it means if you mess up in the locker room or if you do something stupid, you know, there's consequences.
Okay.
You know, there's a tradition to our business, and it basically just comes down to respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know. This business is built on respect and nothing else. It is all about respect. And it goes back to what I said, where now you have a generation coming up that's entitled and doesn't pay their dues. They're not broken in the right way. And they don't, as much as they think they're respected, they don't. They walk around with their noses above everybody. And, you know, you do that in front of a guy like Homicide or myself, like, sorry, we're going to be that guy and say something and call you out.
But I think it's also a product of like our society. You know, like everybody's
100%.
So rich in like the social media, and you know, you think you have 10,000 followers and now you're the shit, you know? So any other dream matches? You and Homicide, that's a good one.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't know if Amazing Red's ever worked with Rich Swann, but I would love to see that.
Whoa, that is very intriguing. I know
Red's a little banged up right now, and I know he takes on like a really light schedule. So I think that'd be cool to see before he's like officially done, whenever that may be. What else? I don't know. I'm just like throwing things, whatever's like fresh in my head is like popping up right now.
Yeah. Well, we have the November card coming up. What's planned for that?
I know as of right now, from what I've heard, it is there's 3 matches I've heard being talked about.
Okay.
One is Willow Nightingale against Puff.
Nice.
The other, Matt Stryker, since you brought him up, and Alex Reynolds against Pepper Parks and Andy Williams.
Oh, wow. I'm liking this already, bro. That's a good one.
And then my match is the Closers and Brandon Watts against myself, Orange Cassidy, and Bill Carr.
Love Orange Cassidy, by the way.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I
saw
saw him
when I saw Bill in the back dressed like him, I lost it. It might be my new favorite thing ever.
Hey, Halloween is right around the corner. If you really want to make some money, we need to get some Orange Cassidy costumes out there at Party City and shit.
Oh, that's great.
It's a thing. We could make it happen.
I love it.
Oh, man. You know what I love, though? You're very close with, like, the wrestling community, and you posted a while back you want to get Juice to WrestleMania 35. Fill us in a little bit more about that.
Oh, yeah, Juice is awesome, man. I was doing a show for Excite Wrestling in Binghamton.
Mm-hmm.
They run some great shows. They're really cool guys. And I was wrestling Joe Gacy, and I did something, I spilled out to the floor. And Juice was right there, and she came up to me sort of middle of my match, just walks up to me and puts her arms out. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So I hug her, and then she looks up, she's like, I love you, and I'm like, I love you too. You're awesome. And then I finished my match, came back out, gave her a hug, took a picture with her, and that was it. But then I went out to sell pictures and stuff, and she just sat down next to me, started talking to me, and that was it. I just fell in love with her. She's awesome. So now, talking to her mom and everybody up at Excite. She goes to every one of their shows. She's a diehard wrestling fan. Her dream is to go to WrestleMania. But obviously, that cost for a single mom living in Binghamton isn't the easiest thing to accomplish. So Juice makes the handmade yarn bracelet. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to sell them. I'm going to just put it out on the internet, get people behind it, and let's see what we can do,
Mm-hmm. How's your fundraising? How's it coming along?
So right now, the cheapest travel package for WrestleMania last year was just over $1,200, and we're at $1,300 for her right now.
Oh, that's amazing. But we should really try to get her front row.
Well, that's the goal. No.
I mean,
but as long as she's going at this point, whatever happens between now and when those tickets go on sale are just icing on the cake.
That's
for
awesome.
Her.
That's awesome. Where could we get one of these handmade bracelets? Because I've seen them. They're really cool. I want to pick up a few.
I have some. Whatever I have left that she made, I have for sale wherever I'm wrestling.
Okay.
And they are still online at bulljames.bigcartel.com.
Awesome. WrestleMania, it's such a great event. We started going to WrestleMania. I think we're up to our 13th or 14th WrestleMania in a row that we've gone to, and it's just addicting. It's addicting. It's a big expense, but we originally started because our boys, we grow up, we have our families, we have our own responsibilities. It became the guys' trip, Every year it would be somewhere else new we could go to and just explore together and feel like, we're fraternity guys. So we're back in the frats, like the frat days.
Right.
Do you, before you got into the business, what shows did you go to, or what have you ever been to a WrestleMania as a fan?
I was at WrestleMania 20 as a fan.
Oh, I started at 22. That's a good
one.
Oh,
yeah, no, 20 was awesome.
Yeah. Who were your guys back then? Who did you mark out to?
I loved Eddie Guerrero. I definitely wanted He Who Shall Not Be Named to win the main event.
Okay.
I always talk to random people too. When I watch old stuff, I watch Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch. I'm not watching Savage Steamboat. I love obscure wrestling stuff.
I feel ya.
So,
I feel ya. Who are you?
My tastes always change. I'm always watching just different guys and girls. I don't know. It's every week it changes.
Now you've a few years removed from the WWE. What are your goals now? Are your goals to go back there? Are your goals to continue building a name for yourself in the independent scene, training? What are your new goals?
I have like a million different goals right now. Like, obviously, I want to go back to WWE and finish, what I didn't get to do the first time, WrestleMania and stuff like that. At the same time, that doesn't mean that I'm closing off my doors to any other opportunities. I had a short stint in Ring of Honor. I had to go back there. Impact is doing some really, really cool things right now.
I would love to see you in Impact. I think that's a great place.
And obviously New Japan kicking ass. So, there's places to go. It's just making sure the timing is right and the right opportunity is there. It's not when I was a kid and it was, I'll do whatever. Yeah, it's got to be right for me and for them. It can't just be right for the other party.
Now, we have a lot of people who listen to the show who are wrestlers, who are doing the drives, are in the independent scene, who sometimes listen to get inspiration from people who have already made it there. What advice do you have for them?
Just keep working your ass off and don't take no for an answer. Stay humble, ears and eyes open, mouth shut. Just constantly try to get better and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Everybody's so concerned with this guy's booked here and I'm not. All right, shit happens. Find somewhere else to work then and drive there. I tell my kids at the school all the time, you can only worry about the stuff you can control.
That's like a life lesson, though.
You can control how you work. You can control your promos. You can control your entrance and your character and that kind of stuff. You can control how you look. You can control how much money you invest in yourself as far as gear and boots and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else is somebody else's decision. It's whoever is paying you that night or giving you the opportunity that night if you're not getting paid to hone your craft. It's what they want. That's your job that night. So if you're worried about their ideas or I heard a story about two guys on an independent show in New York maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and both of them have been given their finishes. And one of them's been around for a while. The other one's been around for 3 years. And they're both going up to the promoter and trying to change the entire show because they weren't happy with what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just do what's asked of you and be a good employee and you'll get brought back.
Right.
Neither guy is in a position where they can afford to lose that once a month booking.
Right.
They're both trying to cut their teeth. They're both trying to get as much experience as possible. And guess what? The promoters all talk. They tell each other who's a headache, who's a pain in the ass to deal with. Who's a headache in the locker room, who nobody wants to work with. So, that gets around,
Mm-hmm.
And the guys and girls talk about it, too. So it's just, you find out real quick. I've seen guys with all the potential in the world be out of the business 3 months later because they just don't know how to handle themselves the right way, and it gets around, and then they're gone. And you just got to worry about the stuff you can control. If you can control it, then that's what you should focus on and concentrate on. If you can't, then just chalk it up to, okay, well, I don't agree with what they're doing, but, I took the booking, so I got to do what they want.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. That's...
And don't get me wrong, there's ways to offer suggestions without being a dick,
Yeah.
But just a lot of people come in, like I said, entitled, and they don't know how to do business the right way. So it comes off as very abrasive. And then that promoter goes, I don't want to deal with this guy again. And then that's the last year of them.
Now, you don't do many podcasts, so I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me, come on a Shot of Wrestling.
I avoid as many of them as I can now.
But you've done a few in the past. So while we're talking about podcasts, what are your feelings about podcasts in the wrestling scene? And all these groups like the Boulevard Bullies and people who are doing vlogs and people who are really embracing social media in the professional wrestling environment.
Dude, I love it. I love it, and I laugh because you and the Bullies, you guys are doing social media better than any of the wrestlers that should be on top of their game right now.
Appreciate that.
As far as this area goes. So that right away makes me laugh. But you guys are driven, and you guys work your asses off, and I think it's great. And you and I met in passing a bunch of times at different shows and stuff. And then we finally got to sit down not long ago and actually hang out and talk. And that's why I'll gladly come on your show. I had one podcast request that I unfortunately accepted, and I won't say who because I'm not going to sit here and bury people. But
okay,
the questions literally came down to, so you were a tag team at Mojo Rawley, and I said yes for one night, and they go, oh cool, how was he? And I said, he's cool. And they went, oh, cool. So you were in a tag team with Tyler Breeze? And I said, yeah, again, that was just for one night. Oh, cool. I'm like, yep, it's cool. I'm like, oh, so how was he? I'm like, he's a cool guy. And they said, oh, cool. So you wrestled Ty Dillinger once? And I said, yes, I did.
Awesome.
And they said, cool. They said, how was he? I'm like, all right, Jesus. Like,
maybe that's your gimmick.
I went searching for whatever I could find to inebriate myself through the rest of the interview.
Hey, that's their gimmick. Maybe we
Oh
should.
my God,
maybe we should adopt that. So, Bull, talk to the Green Man.
No.
How
I'm
was
going to
he?
start my own podcast, and I'm going to like Chris Farley interviewing Paul McCartney. That's going to be my new podcast idea. It's going to revolutionize the wrestling podcast industry.
Hey, everybody's got a podcast nowadays, so go for it.
So I'm gonna do that kind of interview style podcast.
Love it. All right, bro. Well, thank you so much again for taking some time talking to me, coming on the show. Fill us in on some things going on. If people want to stay tuned and continue to follow your journey, where can we follow you on social media?
Everywhere across social media at Real Bull James. You can check out MYWC and Outlaw Wrestling for some of the stuff that I'm more involved in, as far as instead of just showing up to a town and doing my job. House of Hardcore, obviously, returns to the arena in December, so that'll be one to watch out for.
Nice.
And anything and everything you need from me is on social media. I am very accessible and love to interact with people, so feel free, hit me up.
Appreciate it, man. But we're not done with you yet. We still have last call. Let's just take care of some news and some cheers and heels, and we'll be right back with you. Are you down for that?
Last call. It's 11 o'clock at night, man. Last call not till 4.
All right. Well, then let's keep on chatting. So, who was the first girlfriend you ever know? Stick around for a little bit. We got last call at the end of the show.
It's In the News with Michael J. Putty.
So once again, if you want to hear the full interview with Bull James, check us out on YouTube at A Shot of Wrestling. An interview you do not want to miss. Let's get into the news. CNN is reporting that Saudi Arabia is preparing to acknowledge the death of the reporter of Jamal Khashoggi after previously denying it. But as of this recording, WWE is still preparing to present the crown jewel from Saudi Arabia. The report, which was leaked, is said to be still in the preliminary stages, quote-unquote, and will say that the interrogation was carried out without clearance and transparency and that those involved will be held responsible. WWE has been monitoring the situation, quote-unquote, and will reportedly not cancel the event unless they are forced to do so by the State Department or President Donald Trump tells them to do so personally. However, you notice on Raw and SmackDown, the company halted any references of Saudi Arabia, but they keep pushing the Crown Jewel event. So the event is going through no matter what, but the location we're still not sure of. If the WWE goes through with this event in Saudi Arabia, they're facing a huge backlash. Maybe some sponsorship, maybe. But if they cancel this event, they're losing millions of dollars, $45 million on this event alone. If they cancel this event, I assume the other events in the 10-year deal will not go through as followed, which means they'll be losing billions of dollars. So what would you do if you were the WWE? It's a dangerous line to walk, canceling or not canceling this event. If you were in charge, let us know what you would do on our social medias or inbox at shotwrestling.com. One man I don't have to ask is Randy Orton, because TMZ caught up with him at the airport and asked his opinion on the events. He said, and I quote, "I think we should go. I think the only way we can help change over there is to go and not cancel the trip. That's the goal, is to make things better over there. I think us not going doesn't help. Going helps." Well, that's Randy Orton's opinion. That's a big name over at WWE. Is that his personal opinion, or is he just towing the company line? We'll find out soon enough. The event is November 3rd, I believe. Only time will tell, right? In other news, SmackDown Live will premiere on Fox on Friday, October 4th, 2019. We are under a year away Now, as we know, Fox paid a whopping $1 billion with a B for the broadcasting rights for SmackDown Live, and it looks as if they are wanting to get the best they can from the deal, which lasts 5 years. A new report notes that Fox is pushing the WWE to present SmackDown in a much more serious light, and they want them to drop the comedy bits altogether from the brand. Fox plans to create a quote-unquote sports block, which will run from Thursday through Sunday. The plan is for NFL to air on Thursday and Sunday, with SmackDown on Friday. I guess Saturday would be whatever UFC events they have going on. Fox also wants to promote SmackDown during other sporting events, but needs the company on board for a more serious approach to fit into their marketing efforts. So my question is this the end of the New Day on SmackDown? Fox wants a more serious, realistic sports show. There's no room for the New Day here, so I guess New Day might, get drafted or back over to Raw. I guess we'll keep you updated. In other news, Shane McMahon was recently on the Opie Radio podcast and spoke about several interesting topics, to say the least. He revealed that his kids text booking ideas to Vince McMahon. He said, and I quote, "They talk about it, they love it. They give me suggestions like, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to call Pop because, that's what they call my dad. I'm going to call Pop because that was crap. Or, I love this thing, and this is what they should do." Then they call Pop, or they text him their ideas. So Vince McMahon is getting booking ideas from preteens, by the way. That explains a lot. When asked about Hulk Hogan's WWE status, he said, anything concerning Hulk Hogan is Vince's opinion, so talk to Vince. But he believes he'll be back. Now, this blew me away. Didn't hear anything about this, but this is kind of, what? He was asked about a possible incest storyline that Vince McMahon had about him and Stephanie, to which Shane sarcastically replied with, "But my sister's hot, so I don't know if I really would have minded that." Creepy, first of all. Weird. However, Bruce Pritchard revealed on an interview that the discussion that led up to this quote-unquote creative idea, and I quote, "It was during the time when Stephanie was pregnant and Vince was trying to figure out how he could work that into a storyline." I can imagine Vince McMahon proposing a story which his son and daughter have incestual sex, which led to an incest baby. I mean, I can see that happening. I can't imagine if Vince actually going through with it. That would have been awful. That would have been creepy. That would have been stupid. That would have turned a lot of people off. Very happy that I did not go through with it. But speaking of Bruce Pritchard, he revealed on the most recent episode of Something to Wrestle With that there were serious discussions at one stage about making SmackDown an all-women's brand. But at the last minute, they decided to go against it because they did not have the talent to go through with it. He said, and I quote, "We definitely discussed it. We looked at it, but we just didn't have the depth to do it on a consistent basis, week after week. In addition to that, if we were going to do that, maybe not do it on the broadcast show because Vince McMahon is looking at more eyeballs on the product." So I guess, which leads me to ask, do you think an all-female brand of WWE would have worked? Bruce did not mention the time period that took place. Was this 20 years ago when they were initially launching SmackDown? Was it when the Women's Revolution started? We don't know. But do you think an all-female brand of the WWE Universe would work? Let me know. Inbox at ShutterWrestling.com or at Michael J. Putty on our social medias. In other news, current UFC heavyweight and light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier is also a huge fan of the WWE, and shortly after his heavyweight title defense at UFC 230 on November 3rd at Madison Square Garden, he is going over to the WWE to have a tryout, but it won't be as a wrestler. It will be as a commentator. The 39-year-old plans to retire from the UFC next year around his 40th birthday in March after potential fights with Brock Lesnar or perhaps his longtime rival John Jones. Currently, his MMA record stands at 21-1-1. During the UFC press conference this week, he talked about how he had to postpone his WWE tryout for the fight, and I quote, "If I didn't have this fight, I would have been talking to the WWE because they wanted me to go in and do an audition as a member of the commentary team. This was my private little thing, but because of the fight, I had to push it back. So there might be some DC and the WWE shit coming up soon." Now, if you're a UFC fan, you know that Daniel Cormier has done some UFC commentating in the past. When asked if he wants to still do that as well, he said, and I quote, "But I never want to not be in the UFC. I love calling fights. I just love being part of this UFC, man. It's everything I've ever dreamed of." So will Daniel Cormier be a two-sport commentator, much like Mauro Ronaldo? I've seen a couple fights with Daniel Cormier as commentating. Most of it pre- and post-game shows. I think he does a fantastic job. I don't know how his talents will carry over to the sports entertainment world or what show and what role he would fit into. But Daniel Cormier as an announcer is not a bad thing. So we'll keep you updated. And finally, in other news, let's end on a high note. John Cena has become a New York Times bestseller following the release of his new children's book, Elbow Grease. Now Cena joins Mick Foley as former New York Times bestseller. A couple weeks ago, he was on the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, talking about how he presents the never give up positive attitude, but how some people don't think children are old enough to, embrace that lifestyle. So he wrote a children's book for children under the age of the exact WWE audience, so they can get the positive reassurance of, never give up. Keep trying. And it's worked out well because he's the #1 bestseller. Christmas is coming up. I plan on buying this book for a couple of my friends' children. Spoiler alert. So make sure you check out Elbow Grease by John Cena. That's all I got for news. Let's get into an action-packed week of cheers and heels.
A Shot of Wrestling presents Cheers and Heels.
All right, folks, we'll get right into it. This week of TV actually wasn't that bad. Beginning to end, Monday through Thursday. Great week of TV. Let's get right into it with Raw. I'm going to cheers at old school promo with The Undertaker and Kane down in what I assume to be a boiler room or creepy basement of the arena. We haven't seen a promo like that in a long time. Plus, it's a good way for both men to be on TV without actually being live in the arena. Smart use of their time. Kane's the mayor now. He can't afford to be going off every week. Undertaker, is in The Undertaker. So good way to use both men effectively when they weren't even at the arena that week. Cheers to the new, beautiful blonde Nia Jax. Okay, girl, I see you. Hit me up at Michael J. Party. Let's see what happens. Ugh, heel. Biggest heel. I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Michael Cole, when they cut to the announcers, we are 2 weeks away from Evolution, but in 3 weeks, WWE presents Crown Jewel. All right. Crown Jewel, we're not even sure where that's even airing right now. But we know Evolution's taking place. Can you just let Evolution be? Why can't you say, we're 2 weeks away from Evolution and talk about Crown Jewel the rest of the 2 hours and 45 minutes you got on the show? Fuck you, Michael Cole. Big cheers to the Singh brothers being reunited. Happy to see Samir Singh back from his injury. Looking jacked up if you follow him on Instagram and Twitters. I think he's having more of a backstage role, too. So good things are coming away for Samir Singh. And cheers. For the second week in a row, the Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, Trish Stratus, Lita segment, set back, relaxed, I was entertained. But all 4 women did a good job here. Love the impersonations. I think I'm in the minority there, but I love the impersonations. Very spot on. But they were in Philadelphia, and I loved how they made mention and made light of the Allen Iverson practice promo. Well, promo, asshole. The Allen Iverson press conference when he went on a huge rant about practice. I remember the promo, as I keep calling it. But I don't remember the exact reason what led to this. I know he was in a press conference. He was asked a question about practice, and he just kept going off about practice. So they were in Philadelphia. So it's funny how all the women made light of it, made reference to it. If you don't know what I was talking about, let me give you a brief snippet of that press conference to see where the whole practice references came from.
When you just talk about practice, we sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice, not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We talking about practice, man. How silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
That was only a 30-second clip. I think that went on for like 4 minutes. Go to YouTube, check out Allen Iverson practice if you want to see the whole thing in its entirety. But that was Raw. Raw wasn't too bad this week. Wasn't great, but it wasn't that bad. Now let's go over to SmackDown 1000, the A show. Man, so hyped for this show. So hyped. Started out with a bang. Truth TV with all of the McMahons. Great lighthearted way to start the show. Love the dance breaks. Carmella looking smoking hot in that silver dress. Okay, girl, I see you. Hit me up at Michael J. Party. Let's see what happens. Now on Facebook. Then from there we go to my next cheers. The Usos being in a tag team match. The Usos doing what they do best. The Usos are the best tag team on the roster, both Raw and SmackDown, NXT, you name it. They are the best tag team right now outside of Lucha Brothers over at Impact and Lucha Underground. Surprised I didn't go with a heel tag team here, but I'll take the Usos showing off anytime I can get them. Great job. Great use of the Usos. Love the Usos. These see them more. Get them back in the title picture. Little surprise that the Bar won the tag team titles thanks to the help of the Big Show. Someone online mentioned how it's funny how SmackDown 1000 was the place of Big Show's 1000th heel turn. Funny. Great observation. But then now we have a heel tag team. The Usos are faced. Maybe Usos can get back in the tag team picture right now. And of course, cheers, the reunited Evolution. Nothing about that segment sucked. It was great from beginning to end. I mean, one of my favorite theme songs of all time. Randy Orton dressed the part, with the button-down shirt, the vest, matching pants. You don't see him wearing that at all these days. So, nice touch. It's fucking fantastic. The crowd loved Batista, as did I. Great reaction for Batista. Very happy for him. Oh, man. I just can't wait. Can't wait. Oh, man. Give me some more Evolution. I was so hyped. I even went on eBay and bought the Evolution paid, laden, made shirt, which I have in my dresser somewhere, but it doesn't fit because it shrinks in the fucking wash. Oh, man. Can't wait. Oh, Evolution is fantastic. Highlight of my year. Moment of the year for our year-end awards. I'm going to put the Evolution showing up on SmackDown 1000 at the top of my list right here, right now. I can go on and on about it. Whew. Man, awesome. I need to calm down. Whew. How do you follow up Evolution reuniting on SmackDown 1000? It's all downhill from there. Not necessarily, because you have the cutting edge. Edge cutting a fantastic heartfelt promo, equating his career with Becky Lynch's, and she just didn't give a fuck. She came off like a badass. I loved every moment of it. She told Edge to get out of her ring, but watch out, he doesn't break his neck on the way out of the ring. Crowd loved it. I ate it up. Becky Lynch can do no wrong right now. Side cheers. Edge coming out to Tony Schimmel. Introduction. That was a huge thing back in the day. Edge only wanted Tony Schimmel to introduce him. Am I saying his name right? Tony Schimmel, right? Right? Yeah. They're nodding over in the corner, so I'm assuming I'm right. Yeah, but yes, SmackDown 1000 was a great show. Undertaker's promo was a little weird, very short. The promo was a lot shorter than his entrance, so if he had more to say, the show ran long, so they cut his promo down. But if he had a lot more to say, why not do the thing where the lights go off, the gong hits, and he just shows up in the middle of the ring out of nowhere? That would have made sense. Give him some more time. Give him at least, 5 more minutes to speak. Instead, he came out and just said the same exact thing him and Kane said on Raw. Whatever. But if you're in the arena, people were paying to see the Undertaker, so I guess that worked out for them. This didn't work out too well on TV. Congratulations to SmackDown. Came for another 1,000 episodes. And maybe I think we're only a short amount of time from the 20th anniversary of SmackDown, so looking forward to that celebration. Can't wait. Blue Brand, the A show right now in the WWE Universe. And your boy, at Mugshot Buddy's Opinion. Disagree with me? Hit me up. Let me know. Defend Raw if you can. Going over to Lucha Underground. We are 2 weeks away from Ultima Lucha 4. I'm going to chill the gift of the gods again. I mean, it's a cool concept, cool gimmick. But again, we just had most of the season people vying for medallions, doing the tournament. And now we're getting it again. This is my first season of Lucha Underground. Has this ever happened before? 2 Gift of the Gods championships in 1 season? And then Mr. Cuerto gave out the medallions personally this time around, instead of having people fighting for it. Who's this Dante Fox guy? The crowd seemed to love this guy. I don't know who he is. Apparently we haven't seen him since Ultima Lucha 3, but I don't know who that is. Enlighten me who Dante Fox is at Mugshot Buddy. Am I supposed to give a fuck? Am I supposed to like this guy? The crowd loved him. Am I supposed to like him? What's his gimmick? What's your shtick? And another thing. King Cuerno finally learns his name. Took me all season by finally learning his name. King Cuerno was involved in the original Gift of the Gods matches. He lost. Why is he getting another opportunity? Why does Mr. Cuerto giving him another medallion? He lost already. The other 6 guys are newcomers, including Jake Strong, who dominated that showing, by the way. He won the Battle Royal to get to pick who wants to eliminate from next week's show. He didn't eliminate anybody. He wants to dominate all 6 men. Good job, Jake Strong. Well, King Cuerno. There's other people on the roster, no? Whatever. And your main event, a cheers to, I'm assuming, a match I've seen in the previous 1,000 episodes of SmackDown, but it took it to a whole new level here on Lucha Underground. Johnny Mundo versus Jake Strong. Great match. Great way to end the show. Strong, brutal, fun, entertaining match to watch. Good job to both men. Cannot wait for Ultima Lucha 4, man. It's not too late, folks. Only 2 weeks away, so you have time to still watch it. El Rey Network. Look it up, elreynetwork.com. I'll go over to Impact. Like I mentioned earlier, we were there for the Impact taping, so I was curious to see how they were going to play it out. Basically what they did, they just cut the matches. You had the ring announcer guy introduce the participants, and then during commercial breaks, you say Queen's getting your feet, and then Don Callis and Josh Matthews would cut promo and segment for about 5-10 minutes, I think they did. They ran the gauntlet. They did everything they want to talk about in that one spot. They're going to add it in the other episodes. So stay tuned to their attire because it stays the same for the next 4 weeks. All the promos, backstage segments were pre-taped. We didn't watch them. They were pre-taped before the crowd was even into the arena. One of the things I learned talking to the people in the VIP area. So I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know how it was going to happen and what the promo implications were. So Here we are, Impact, the last Impact in prime time. Starting out with Cheer, Scarlett Bordeaux opening her talent search to fans. Now she's on a search to find the next talent, someone she can mold and lead to the championship, lead to bigger and better things. But now us fans get a chance to win over Scarlett Bordeaux. Email your video, scarlett@impactwrestling.com. Already did it before I came to the studio. Wish me luck. I think it's a lock. Nobody compares to your boy at Michael J. Putty. Bring it. I'm pretty confident I got this in the bag. Also on Impact, one of the pre-tape segments, you saw LAX celebrating by the bar their victory. Pouring drinks, doing shots, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, OGs came to crash the party. Well, wouldn't you know, I knew exactly where that was. That was a bar in the VIP area. Guess where me and Green Man spent all 3 nights at that bar, right in front of the ring on the second floor. Knew exactly where that was. They were standing right where we were standing. So I guess it makes sense they pre-taped that shit. Or else Michael J. Putty and Green Man would be hanging out with the fucking LAX, celebrating, popping drinks. So Allie went to the Undead Realm. You saw that on Bound for Glory. She showed up on Impact this week with darker hair, looking pretty good. Then she snaps and attacks Alicia Edwards. Almost like a trance-like state. Kiera Hogan, the beautiful Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan is definitely someone on Putty's radar right now. How to snap her out of it. Now I know what happens in the next coming weeks on Impact with Allie. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I am very curious to see where they go from there. The evolution of the character of Allie, the implications, the side effects of her entering the Undead Realm, the soulless Allie. Fun stuff ahead in the next couple weeks. Looking forward to what happens next on the next set of tapings in Las Vegas. So keep your eyes out on Allie. That's all I got for TV this week. Like I said, fun week of TV. Nothing too boring, nothing too bland. It's a fun week of TV from beginning to end, so hopefully that carries over. Let's see what happens in the ratings this week. This week's Raw drew 2.397 million, which is up 1% from last week's 2.374 million. Raw was number 12 in the night in viewership behind Monday Night Football, the Kickoff Show, the National League Championship Series, the American League Championship Series, Fox News, MSNBC, a whole bunch of cable news. Raw was number 5 in the 18 to 49 demographic, however, for the second week in a row, behind Monday Night Football, the Kickoff Show, SportsCenter, and the Major League Playoff games. This week's SmackDown 1000 drew a 2.545 million, which is up 19% from last week's 2.135 million. SmackDown was number 9 in viewership for the night for the second week in a row, behind the American League Championship game, the National League Championship game, the NBA, which is the season started this week, so we hear a lot more about the NBA in the next couple of months. The 8 p.m. game, the 10 p.m. game, Fox News, MSNBC. SmackDown was number 5 in 18 to 49 demographic, behind both MLB playoff games and 2 NBA games. So yeah, if you're paying attention, you heard me correctly. Something you don't hear too often. SmackDown beat Raw in the ratings. Well deserved. About time. I hope it keeps up. It was a special attraction episode of SmackDown. We'll see what happens next week. I'm sure everything will go back to normal, but we're going to enjoy it this week. SmackDown will beat Raw in the ratings. Impact, however, the fallout from Bound for Glory drew 189,000 viewers, which is up 3.3% from last week's 183,000. Like I said, this is also the last ratings we'll get for the 8 p.m. prime time slot for Pop TV. So curious to see how things will change in the next coming weeks. This week's Impact ranked 148 in the cable top 150. Last week's show didn't even make the top 150. So adding a little bit helps. Do you think that Impact being pre-taped 4 weeks at a time hurts the ratings? Do you think it's the network it's on? Do you think it's a time slot? Why are Impact ratings so low? Give me your thoughts. Inbox@shadowwrestling.com or Michael J. Putty on Facebook. That's all I got for some cheers and heels. Well, that, folks, pretty much wraps things up here for episode 139. Earlier tonight, you heard a preview of Green Man's interview with Bull James. So make sure you go over to our YouTube channel, A Shot of Wrestling, to hear the full interview. An interview you do not want to miss. So check us out on YouTube, A Shot of Wrestling. A big thank you to Ross Foreman, Ed Nordholm, the president of Impact, for your weekend of hospitality. Thank you for including us in your weekend that was Bound for Glory and Impact tapings. But pretty much in conclusion, this show is from the fans to the fans, so make sure you check us out, A Shot of Wrestling, on Facebook and Instagram. And also check your boy out at Mark J. Putty on Twitter and Instagram. And also now on Facebook at Mark J. Putty. So get involved in the conversation, like our stuff, comment on our stuff. Your comments, questions will be read on the air. Get involved in the conversation because, like I said, the show is from the fans to the fans. But for Green Man, for Bull James, for the folks over at Impact Wrestling, I have been your host at Michael J. Putty. Until next week, Putty out.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh. All right, everybody, we have made it to the end of the episode, and we're back here with Bull James on Last Call. You ready, Bull? It's rapid fire questions. The first thing that comes out of your mind is the first thing you should answer. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
Terry Funk.
Other than wrestling, what is your favorite sport?
Football and baseball.
What is the most annoying bad habit people have?
Not saying thank you when you hold the door open for them.
What is the best feature on a woman?
Personality, even though everyone's gonna be like, yeah, right. Like, you're setting me up for so much like hate tweets and stuff.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, yes, you are. You have no idea what. Oh, you're opening so many floodgates right now.
Who is your celebrity crush?
That changes, I think, probably on a weekly basis.
Okay. Who's this week?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I haven't really watched much TV this week.
Okay. Do you fart in public?
No, who does that?
I don't know. Some people do. What is your favorite fast food chain?
I haven't eaten fast food, and everyone's like, yeah, right. In quite some time. I'm going to say probably Taco Bell.
Ooh, well, Chipotle is a good one, too, if you like Mexican.
No, that's not fast food.
Yeah, it is. Come on.
No, they don't have a drive-thru. It's not fast food.
Ooh, good point. What is your favorite TV show?
I got a bunch. Right now, Ray Donovan's like top of the list.
What adult beverage makes you make poor decisions?
None. I actually handle my drink pretty well.
Good. What is your favorite karaoke song?
No karaoke for me, although the one time that I've done karaoke, King Meg and myself absolutely crushed Juicy by Biggie.
Ooh. Finally, who's your favorite Boulevard bully?
Bald Steve.
Awesome. All right, you survived last call. Thanks for being...
That one, I can't wait for that one because both Steve and Pat are now going to flip out.
Well, Bull, you've survived last call. Thank you so much for being on our show, and we have a lot of great more shows to check out. Check out Outlaw.
Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused. Yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. Ha, 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.